YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I greatly appreciate you taking the time to click on this video today. We are here in the off season, my favorite episode, because we get to move out everything. We get to see what the transfer portal entails, but it also has my least favorite part, especially early in dynasties, the good players leaving my bad programs. So without further ado, let's hop in. You see on the screen that Texas A&M hands Georgia their first loss of the year in the national championship, and Texas A&M takes the championship back to the 12th man. And I think that was a rematch of the Big Ten title game, if I remember correctly. Before we simulate to the following, we did not go over season stats last episode, so we'll do that very quickly here. Taylor played all 14 games. He completed 53% of his passes for just over 4,000 yards, 29 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. He was a turnover machine late. He really took care of the ball early in the year, but late in the year we were in trouble with him throwing interceptions, and it was not ideal. On the ground, Ferguson only played 10 games. Jackson only played 7 games. Horton saw 9. Thomas saw 7. So it was a very battered backfield. But if you look at these combined, that's 1,500 yards, 1,100 yards, 1,200 yards, plus Horton and Thomas, that's another 500. So we ran the ball relatively well. We just didn't have a guy that dominated because of injuries. I mean, that's really what it came down to at the end of the day for the rushing yards. Receiving wise, the sophomore Durham, I mean, he wants to leave because of conference prestige. We are moving up in a conference. I don't know if that's going to be good enough to keep him, which is a big bummer. He had just under 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns. McDougal hit 1,000 yards right on the nose. Brand exposure looks like he's going to be leaving as well. And then our tight end Price, who is a freshman, he had 542 yards. And 6 touchdowns. So those 3 were the big ones. Obviously, our running backs, Patel on the outside. I mean, he was just a big-bodied guy. Defensively, Pettijohn led the team with 92 tackles. He wants to leave because of play style, which is insane. B- to B is crazy. Same thing with Robinson, who brought down 88. Shepard's 84 tackles. Tackles for loss, Robinson and Conley tied for 12. Then we had Farmer at 11, Pettijohn and Allen at 10 apiece. Sack-wise, 7.5 for Farmer. Walt Allen had 5. And as you can see, a couple more sprinkled in there. We did not turn a lot of people over a lot, and Pettijohn led that charge as well with 2, tied with Stewart, McLean, and Yates, and then Harmon got 1 as well. So not a lot of turnovers on the defensive side of things, but they played well enough to be 12-2. All right, the dreaded screen. Very low for Robinson, very low for Pettijohn to come back to the program. And as you can see, there is a whole host of players that are on here. Whoops, didn't want to go there. Quarterback, the freshman, I mean, he wasn't going to be very good, I don't think. So we're probably going to let him walk. Maybe. It's a 75 overall. It's a 3-star. Horton, Elijah Jackson, these 2 as well. They're both normal development players. Pro potential is their biggest thing. We're not going to get that up. Ferguson's not going to get drafted, so it's going to be tough to keep them here. McDougal, Brand exposure. I mean, our brand exposure is terrible. He was so good for us, though. But it doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to get him to come back. Now, this guy, on the other hand, is definitely somebody that we want to try to convince to come back, and he does, which is a very good win there. Sophomore center, we don't really need him to come back. The junior, we don't need him to come back either. Now, the sophomore here might be somebody that we want to come back. But we're going to wait until we get through the rest to figure out these two juniors. They don't have a good development trait. They're not very good, so we might not want to have them come back. This guy, on the other hand, we might want to, except for extremely low, because the D tackles don't get sacks, is what I'm assuming. So Davis Ross is somebody that we want to try to come back. We get him to come back, which is fantastic. Let's see. Troy Farmer played a lot for us. Coker, he's an impact player. Play style is an F. Why? That just doesn't make any sense. I just don't know why it's an F, but we'll try. We're not going to try on the other guy. Now, here are the two big ones. They're B-, but they're very low to come back. It's because their overalls are just so good, and they're just such good players. So if we can get one of them to stay, I would be very happy. But I'm not going to hold my breath as we lose both of them. Free safety, Stewart, he was so good for us this year. We got to go ahead and try to keep him here. Not going to do that either. Sheldon, he didn't really play or he started 14 games for us. What? 86 speed. We have a couple of these left to try to keep, so we'll go ahead and give him that one. So we lost two sophomores, going to be juniors, two really good linebackers. We just couldn't keep them there. There was one player where I was like, we probably should try to keep them. We're going to try the left tackle. He's going to stay, and then we're going to try the right guard and see, and we failed. So we got a couple people to stay here. But if you look, these top two guys, transfer guys, not ideal. And then we have, well, top three guys, I guess. But all this talent, if you can call it talent, outside the top couple guys. So that is players leaving. So that's going to make it a little bit more difficult in the transfer portal to try to get those type of caliber players again through the portal like we did last year. All right, quick look at the portal. As you can see, we have 675 hours, so we have a little bit of a boost from what we had last year. Now, here's the biggest issue is we need 4 outside linebackers. We need 2 middle linebackers, 2 safeties. And that in itself, right, is 8 players. That's going to get us to 25. We need 2 guards, 27, 1 receiver, 28, 1 halfback, 29, and then 2 quarterbacks. So we have to get almost a full recruiting class to fill the needs, and that's not even counting the fact that we only have about 6 or 7 commits at this point in time. So a lot needs to happen here in the portal. We need to win a lot of these players. The nice thing is look at all these firsts in 3 stars, right? So it's really good to see that people are willing to come here and to play. So we're gonna go ahead and fill out the recruiting board, and I'll give you an update of where we landed on who we're going for and what position and that different type of thing as we get it set. Everything is set up. As you can see, we only have 32 targets on our board. The 675 hours just does not do anything. And as you'll see up here, we're not putting anything towards anybody. So if Purdue really wants this athlete thumper, they're going to go get him this week because I just don't have the hours. So he was the only one. If we were in another battle, we just gave up on it just so we could get some room for some of these guys. So we have 4-star right tackle, a 4-star running back, and then we have just a whole host of 3-stars. And essentially, outside of this guy, because he has 92 speed, if they were first on our board, they have 15 points. This quarterback we really want, so we put on 50. This quarterback we need as well, just for depth. We put 25 on. Everybody else, if they were in first and had a scholarship, they got 15 points. Now, I'm really worried that I'm going to miss out on a lot of these guys because of that, but we will see next week. You will be seeing the final portion of the class unless something big happens before that. All right, just a quick update here. This is the last and final week of the portal. As you can see, the guys that we were going through for high schoolers all look pretty good still. Nobody jumped in on them. The 4-star running back should be able to get him even with Iowa's pipeline tier. They haven't been jumping much, and we got this guy's hard sell wrong twice. So the other thing that we are looking at too is we are in first on a lot of these players. Indiana shouldn't be able to catch us. We did get this corner on campus with 2 other safeties, so he should commit. UNLV, depending on what they did with their visit here, but we've been jumping. We jumped them last week, so we'll see how that goes. If we were the only one, so this guy, the SMU backed out, so we went ahead and instead of hard selling, we soft sold just to get more hours to spread out. We probably don't need all 50 here, but we're going to keep it anyway. We brought him, putting him on campus, so hopefully that will overtake the pipeline tier for Memphis. And this is the other safety we brought in for that corner. Now, 27 through 35 are all guys that are first on our board that nobody else has offered. And except for this guy's third, but we needed another linebacker because I had to pull out of one this week where Cincinnati was coming really hard, and they stole another one of our linebackers as well already. So hopefully these 30 hours and the scholarship offer gets Sinet here. Obviously not a whole lot of scouting happened. We just need to try to fill holes in which, if you come over here and look, we still have them. We need one more edge. We need another Mike. We need another corner. We need another tight end. It was wild. Even through this, like, I kept coming back to this page, and it just randomly changed this week. So that is recruiting. We'll go ahead and simulate to the National Signing Day here and see where the class finish. All right, as you can see, we got 32 of the 35 guys that we're getting. Some of the guys we lost were the guys we tried to get in too late. And like Kentucky came and stole one, and Iowa State came and stole one that like weren't even close. And then the last guy on the board that I talked about putting 30 hours on, we lost him to Western Michigan, and he walked on there. So I was shocked, but also we're Ball State. So let's see where the class lands. Carl Garrison, the agile athlete, the 19th player in the country, commits to Ball State, a star development trait. Love to see that. Normal development trait there for the 4-star receiver, which is a bummer. And we're really not going to stop much until we see something bigger than impact. Star for the gem dual threat quarterback with 82 speed, 91 throw power, Jimmy Uchi. And star for the transfer freshman right guard. Love to see that. And it's not looking promising. Star for the strong safety transfer, sophomore as well. And nothing outside of that. So it's a bummer these two aren't anything more than normal because it's probably not going to be useful. They won't be useful at this point because of where we're at. We are still in Conference USA. We finished with the 31st class in the country, 1 5-star, 2 4-stars, 27 3-stars, and then those 2-stars with a point total of 198. And yeah, six 5-stars for Georgia, 5 for Ohio State. Those were 2 really just like standout classes for sure. Georgia filled out their board with 35. So did Clemson. And then, I mean, we were, 6th with the amount of tied with Auburn and Miami. So we are getting guys. It's just, are we getting the most competitive guys at this point? We will see. Position change time. I think the biggest thing that we need to do is look at the athletes, and then I'll go through and I'll look from there. This guy has a crazy amount. He's gonna be good. What is his playing time? Okay, he should stay here. I can't imagine him losing playing time as a 5-star coming here at this portion of. We're not putting him at tight end, by the way. Like, what? All right, so he's probably going to be a guard. He could play edge as well, or D-tackle for that matter. He has 91 strength, 86 tackle, 81 block shed. And what do we got here? 76 pass block, 79 run block. We're going to have to really see where we need him the most as we cycle through. Backfield threat here is he actually a halfback? 86 speed at a halfback is probably not going to be it. Probably not going to be it. He only has 60 carrying too. We might move him over here somewhere. We'll have to wait and see where he needs to go to. We'll have to wait and see. And then we got Thumper. He has an impact development trait, which is phenomenal. He has 88 speed. So we'll see where those guys fit as well. So we'll go through here and we'll just take a peek at what this looks like here, and then we will get into the conference changes. Position changes, we settled on Garrison, the 5-star, to go to D-tackle. We just needed help in the middle for sure. And then we had Biggums move with his speed to Will linebacker. And then we had Penny come here to free safety. Again, 86 speed for running backs, just not going to do it for our team. So we moved him here, and hopefully he can progress into something with that speed. So that's where the athletes came from. And see what we can do for off-season training. Position change finished. Training finished. And we'll go over the roster in the next episode, so you'll see all the upgrades and all the decisions that we have to make. But we are now in the fun part of the series, and we get to see where all the changes are made. As you can see in Independence, there's 3 out of the 5 that get to go up. And I'm pretty sure there was 3 last year as well. There was 4 last year. So 3 move up. Kennesaw State, Missouri State, and Old Dominion drop. As Akron, who had a really good year for their standards, move up with Central Michigan, who had a fantastic year. They went 11-2. So they had a super good year. And as you can see, I'm not going to go through and talk about all of them. The big one that I enjoy is Hawaii. Last year when we did this, Hawaii really didn't go up, like, ever. I don't think they ever went down either. They just kind of stayed put. So it's nice to see them. But as you can see, red teams are getting demoted from the conference. green teams are going to the next conference. And we have talked about these prior. I did go through and do all the tiebreakers and all those different things. So, this is now what the conferences are going to look like going into this season. So, I'll pan very slowly. That way, if you guys need to pause and look at it or anything like that, you can go ahead and do that on your own. Last order of business here in the off-season episode is our schedule. So week 1, we're gonna go avenge our bowl game loss. So we're gonna travel to West Point, New York, to take on Army. We're gonna have a bye week. Then we have a rivalry game against Northern Illinois. We're going to play Fresno. Now, Fresno is in the Mountain West, which is 2 conferences above us, but they just dropped down from the previous one, which I think is the Pac-12. So this is kind of like a measuring stick game for us. Yes, they just came down, right? But I didn't want to go to a promotion one because that's like playing a team that's in the next conference up. So that's kind of the reason why we went there. And there's a stretch of 4 games here where we're home, but this means that we need our recruits to really go through their process, because with these 4 here early as we start conference play with Jack State and Coastal Carolina, we have an away game at Charlotte, a home game against Texas State. Then we have 2 away games at week 9 and 10, which is tough for recruiting, at Temple and Bowling Green. Then we have 1 more home game week 11. So we really have to jump on this week 11 visit on players that maybe be dragging their feet just a little bit, right? So then we finish out our conference play schedule against Miami of Ohio, which is a rivalry game, and then UL Monroe, who we faced in the conference championship in Conference USA this past year, and see how they fare here in the MAC and see how we fare in the MAC. As you can see, we're a 76 overall across the board. I feel like this might be a year where we stay 1, but we'll see. That's what I thought last year as well, and we took care of business. And that is going to be the episode. We will get into the recruiting and all that stuff in the next episode as we find players that want to be here and want to be pursued here by Ball State. I greatly appreciate you taking the time to click on the video. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and leave a comment. The comment on this episode: what do you think our record is going to be next year? First year in the MAC. We've moved up the first 2 years. How are we going to fare here? Do we have kind of a step back year? Do we get demoted or relegated? Do we promote again? What do you feel? Let me know there in the comments. It helps a lot. As always, I hope you have a good day. I hope you had a great day. Spread the word. Peace.